So I want to remind everybody out there, you got to be patient. It takes a little time. You know, man will work out all of his problems eventually. You guys just got to hang in there and be optimistic. Now we're going through changes, and I wanted to show you guys, you know, big oil and these crazy companies got these people running scared in the streets. So we're going to have to look into future technology and how we're going to make things run in our world. Think about that. We're running out of oil. That's what this video is about. Now I know they've told you a lot of things on the media. We've all seen a lot of crazy stuff. But what I'm here to show you goes beyond that. I'm going to show you that the planet's running out of what we call energy, oil. The planet's running on oil. It's leaving us. It's gone. There's not going to be any more. That's what this video is about. Now Stanley Meyers warned us about this. Let me show you a little more in this video and we'll get back. Let me edit this.
If that oil is cut off to this country in any way, shape, form, or fashion in a relatively short period of time, this country could really be excited into war. You know, if you go hungry, then people start to try to do something about it. Sudan, for example, has access to the viral germ under genetic restructuring that breeds of the bacteria of air and water and even of oil. And he has the Masada complex that if I go, maybe perhaps I'll allow the world to go too. If he would use that type of viral germ and contaminate the oil, one thimbleful could contaminate the entire oil supply of the Western world. If that would actually happen, then the countries of the world would be faced to stop the flow of oil to their countries to prevent perfection or infection of that disease to the population of their countries. If that would actually happen, then we would be faced within 180 to 240 days of about 1.5 billion people facing starvation. For you see, the entire industrial revolution of the United States and the industrial base of the United States and the world is based on what? The supply and the utilization of energy.
Two.
For God's sake, what now?
Who ran Barter Town?
Damn it, I told you no more embargoes.
Poor blaster. Who run Barter Town?
Alright, I just wanted to add more evidence to this video showing you that we've run out of oil, people. The world has run out of oil. Did you really think they were going to take something out of the ground forever, for eternity, and expect it to be there? Even a child knows you can't dig something out of the ground forever. Stanley Meyers warned every single one of us about this, that we would run out of oil in just a few years' time, right before they murdered him and destroyed his water-powered car.
Unusual sighting off the coast of California. In fact, it's so rare that we here at RT America wanted to get a bird's eye view of the unexpected arrivals along the coastline. You're looking at here exclusive drone footage of dozens of massive oil tankers sitting idle along the Pacific coast with nowhere to go. Because
yeah, they want you to think that the oil tankers are full and they have nowhere to go because of the virus and there's no way to get the oil to the people. But in reality, life's never coming back. That's what the whole scam and the hoax is, guys. They've run out of oil and don't quite know how to tell the world, because they sure starting to talk about hydrogen all of a sudden. Think about that.
These oil tankers have anchored due to the global demand for fuel collapsing, all due to less driving and less flying, as millions of Americans.
And you know they lie out their ass. These media stations, they lie out the ass. So you know they're lying to you.
Are being forced to stay home during this coronavirus pandemic. RT correspondent Natasha Sweet is in Long Beach with the story.
With people flying and driving less, the oil industry is taking a hit. And as you can see, there are dozens of oil tankers off the coast here in Southern California. But these line of rigs go as far north as San Francisco with simply no place to unload.
See, and I think all of our problems started right there. The sabotage of the Hindenburg airship. This was the largest thing ever built on the planet. Think about that. The Hindenburg airship. Nobody wants to talk about it. But oh, the humanity. That's where that came from. Oh, the humanity. They drug the cameras out. Then they destroyed the ship in front of all the cameras and all the media was there. And it had a perfect flight record. Thousands and thousands of flights. And it never had any problems. And then right that one day when the media was there, they destroyed it in front of everyone. So even if you go on Wikipedia, which is an online encyclopedia, it tells you a little bit about the disaster was subject to a newsreel coverage, photographs, and Herman Morrison's recorded radio eyewitness reports at the landing field. So you see, they had all the news media there. And if you go further down into the page, anybody that's read or knows anything about the hydrogen airship itself, it had a perfect flight record. And I highlighted this blue part for you, so you can go back and read it. So it talks about the possibility of sabotage and how many people said it was sabotaged because it was struck by lightning. The commander said it was struck by lightning many times at thunderstorms and remained unharmed. So you have to go learn a little bit about the crew and the commander. Sabotage of the hydrogen industry. It goes way back, and it goes on to this very day.
Who run water tank?
And need I remind you guys where all the hydrogen technology came from? Okay, the rockets in Germany, the whole NASA space program. Don't forget about Operation Paperclip.
Say loud.
See, that's the secret around what's happening, guys. Think about it. They're running out of gas. You can't take something out of the ground forever and expect it to be there. Stanley Meyers warned you about this. See, and they're talking about hydrogen now because they have nowhere else to go. And what sucks is they want to sell you the hydrogen and you don't produce it yourself. That's the scam that's coming.
That's we've seen over globalism. From globalism, I don't think people recognise them enough. You know, we have cheaper cars, cheaper access to a lot of products, but this pandemic has exposed some of our vulnerability when it comes to globalism.
Sure.
And one of those surely must be in energy these days, in fuel security in particular. Is Australia exposed badly when it comes to fuel security? Do we need to do something to have more refining capacity on our shores?
Well, let me just reassure your watcher, your viewers today, Chris, that there is no shortage of fuel. There is no need to run out to the petrol station and fill up.
I'm not suggesting that, but it's raised this in the debate. In fact, it's cheaper now than ever.
You're absolutely right. Exactly right. So in the short term, we're flooding in liquid fuels, in petrol and diesel and jet fuel. Obviously, there's a.
I'd buy that for $1.
So the sheeple thinks that everything's just fine and there's plenty of oil out there. It's never-ending supply. They don't want you to know about the water technology.
In my office laboratory to help me. Well, you see, I have been confronted with high-tech development all my life, and I understand the processes of how to control and manipulate high technology to prevent it from coming in. Many of the horror stories you hear about how to control high technology to prevent it from getting into the marketplace, unfortunately, is very true. I've been in high-level meetings and negotiations with leaders throughout the world, because you see, the same problems that are confronting us is the same problems that's confronting them. You know, in the interim period of time since the Industrial Revolution, and since the time the internal combustion engine is the greatest consumer of oxygen into the air, and core samples in the polar regions have shown that at that beginning of time there was like 38% of oxygen in the air. It has dropped down to 21%. If you think we got a problem, in a mere interim period of 10 years, population will go from 5.4 billion to over 9 billion people, and the present rate of consumption and pollution and contaminants that we're putting in the air, it's possible the oxygen content will drop down to around 17%. If that absolutely occurs, then we'll be on respirators.
Master Blaster runs by the time.
Louder.
Master Blaster runs by the time.
Lift embargo.
So what a lot of people don't know is there's a tremendous amount of energy in water. Just in this gallon of water right here is more energy than all those ships parked off the shore. Think about that. NASA uses this to go into space. You can capture and reburn that. So according to Stanley Meyers and Einstein, you could drive a freight train around the world endlessly using a gallon of water.
And therefore, we also must protect the military integrity of the United States. Einstein said there's enough energy in 1 gallon of water that you could take a 1,000-car train around the earth many times. And the key was how do we go on with the development of the technology, get it in every segment of the economy, as well as protect the military integrity of the United States. You see, in my lifetime, I learned that you must negotiate from a power of strength, not from weakness. Go ahead.
So put that in context, and then you got to wonder why the world's having so many problems. It makes you wonder what them tetrahedron pyramids are doing out there in the desert too. And remember, those pyramids are all around the world. It's almost like they covered up the old technology so they could control everybody selling you the fake fossil fuels, the non-renewables. They didn't want you to have hydrogen fuel cell technology. Yeah, they could go into space, but they couldn't get your car to roll down the road. No toaster. I mean, think about that. You know, so the water fuel cell, water technology was never meant for the people. That's why we're in Armageddon right now. You're not supposed to survive this.
Oil. For 150 years, we've been extracting it from the ground. It's the easy, economical fuel that makes the modern world possible. California, the Kern River oil field, a black underground pool that contains more than 500 million barrels of oil, enough to fuel America for 4 weeks. 1 minute from now, it's all going to disappear. Around the world, the same thing will happen.
So I hope this little video helps some of you guys understand why we don't live in a technology society like that. Because what's happened, we've all been lied to. These big oil industries and these non-renewables have really taken advantage of the human race. Now somebody has to point this out. That's what Stanley Meyers was doing, and you can see what happened to Stanley Meyers. So the hydrogen fuel cell technology, the water, the tetrahedron. Now think about that. NASA and all those scientists and everything. It's no coincidence that Disneyland is right there in Florida with NASA. See, they've taken the water molecule and, you know, they made a joke out of it. The whole world is suffering because these people lied. Think about that. Instead of giving us the water molecule, the most important symbol in the galaxy, they gave you that. Just trying to help connect the dots and explain some of this stuff and how we got into this situation. You know, you have to connect the dots. The Hindenburg, World War II, hydrogen technology, rockets, Nazis, NASA, Disneyland, water molecules, tetrahedrons, endless source of fuel. Think about that. Hydrogen, the most abundant element on the planet, the most powerful fuel in the galaxy. And we're not using it for anything? And you wonder why we're in this situation.